Hi everybody, it's curiousraven. I just wanted to say happy 4th of July. Remember that this day is to celebrate our freedom and to thank all of the people that fought that battle a long time ago for us. It stands for a lot. Alright, let's get into these stories. This is going to be a short video. My boyfriend and I went to San Francisco for my birthday weekend, and we stayed at this small, trendy, artsy 4-star hotel near Union. Now, I grew up in the Philippines and I have expressed some mild activity, whereas my siblings and my other family members have expressed the more intense one. I can make another post about it if you guys are interested. It's also a predominantly Catholic country, but also somewhat superstitious. Anyway, back to the story. We checked in and it was a nice cozy room with pretty neat art. The activity started when my boyfriend and I went to bed. I got up to drink some water and to use the bathroom. While I was reaching for the water bottle, the bathroom door just suddenly opened on its own. I screamed and my boyfriend said that it's probably just the air. But the bathroom door was closed shut, and the only way it would open is if someone opened it from the inside. There was also knocking and tapping on the walls, which I dismissed and passed off as noise from the other floors or outside, but the entire time I was feeling the exact feelings I felt when I had my past experiences. We stayed there for a couple of days, and on our last night was the most activity, other than the door opening. When we went to bed, I felt a really strong energy on my side of the bed, as if someone was watching me. There was ruffling on the corner where our clothes are, as if someone was looking for something, more tapping on the walls, knocks on windows that came in twos, and finally, what made me scream was the sound of someone purposely dropping something on the floor, all in that same corner. My boyfriend woke up and turned the lights on, and in the corner we found nothing. The next day we checked out. I looked up the history of the hotel, and it was indeed reported haunted. August 2018. We decided to visit the Stanley Hotel on vacation. Love SK. We checked in, and while the others were grabbing our suitcases, etc., I went up to see our room. Inside of the room, while I was waiting, I heard what sounded like a young girl screaming. It sounded close, but not very loud. I looked in the hall and out the window, saw nothing. I woke up very early the next morning, 6:45 a.m., and I thought I heard a young girl singing. It was quiet, but clear. Everyone was asleep. Nobody in the hall or outside the windows. I wasn't scared, just curious. There were 3 large windows in our room. Old style, no screens. You have to push them up to open them. Painted over a few times so they were hard to open. One of the windows slammed shut twice while we were in that room. Slammed so hard that a small piece of wood broke off of the frame and landed on the floor. On the second night, we switched rooms with the other family members, now in room 321. All quiet at bedtime, but very shortly after we settled in, my husband said he couldn't sleep. He is not a believer in spirits. He said the room suddenly felt strange, and he felt like someone was watching us. After he fell asleep, I thought I heard a radio playing. Sounded like an old transistor radio. I looked over at the cell phones to make sure they hadn't started auto-playing something. They were both dark. A minute or two after that, I heard what sounded like a man whispering, very close to my ear. I couldn't understand any words. A quick look at hubby. Saw he was facing away from me, sound asleep. Shortly after that, just as I was drifting off, I felt 2 distinct pokes on my pillow, as if someone used their finger and tapped the pillow hard. I look at my husband. He was still facing the other way, snoring, None of these things scared me. I was busy trying to analyze and found them interesting. In the morning, we found the flashlight on my husband's cell phone was on. He said he hadn't touched it. And remember, I looked at the phones after hearing what sounded like a radio, and they were both dark. Putting my bracelet on that morning, I noticed 2 bruises on my arm. I hadn't seen them the night before when I took the bracelet off and had no idea how they got there. They matched perfectly where an index finger and pinky would sit if my arm had been grabbed by force. I had not. My daughter, adult, came in as we were all leaving for breakfast, and I noticed a large rash on the side of her neck. She had no idea it was there, how it got there, and said it did not hurt. It had faded and was gone by evening. I posted a review of our visit on TripAdvisor, Loughman, which includes pictures of the bruises and rash. If you want to check that out, it's capital LAURI, capital MIT, and it's all together. My friends and I, all women in our early 20s, went on a girls' trip recently. Our destination was Santa Cruz for the weekend getaway. We booked a hotel and came back pretty late and drunk the first night there. 5 minutes after we get back, we started hearing a kid crying, and it sounds like he's crying right outside our door. One of the girls instinctively went to the door to open it and help him, but was stopped by the rest of us. We just had a bad gut feeling about the whole situation. Our hotel room was in a very secluded part of the hotel. The crying went on for what seems like forever, and that whole time we were scared shitless. I thank God one of us had the sense in our drunken state to lock the door behind us when we came in. We called the lobby after a few minutes of hearing the wailing, because if it really was a scared lost child or something, they could be the ones to help them. But when they got to our room to check everything, there was no one there. No crying child. They searched around our room and the entire hotel and found nothing. My friends think that maybe it was someone that saw a bunch of women staying alone and stumbling from Uber to the room and had malicious intentions. This is probably my most unsettling experience while traveling. Or the hotel was haunted. I used to live an hour away from Gettysburg, and we explored the battlefield with friends late at night. Several times we saw nothing, but one night in July of 2010, we experienced so much. Our group saw a giant orb swinging lanterns in the woods, and we have EVP recordings of loud horses galloping, guns firing, and people whispering. You can hear the EVPs of 2 men saying, "Bob, is that her? What did you do to that poor girl?" Later on, we recorded multiple women's voices trying to identify someone else, saying such as, "Is it Malviki? It's that girl, Rayana." There were 2 women, including myself in the group, and 2 guys, so I'm not really sure what the spirits were referring to. Also, when we were walking through the wheat field, my friend asked out loud if there was anyone in the woods, and both him and I heard a loud whisper in our ear, "No." It was super creepy. It was almost as if the ghost was being sarcastic. In addition, I also have an EVP recording of someone saying, "Help me." The night felt like everywhere we went was a paranormal experience, and I also heard Indian tom-tom drums in the woods, and also heard the distinct echoes of cannon fire. Whatever was out there followed us around because the whole night there was this white misty cloud nearby. I also saw muzzle flashes and smelled tobacco smoke. I still have the 20-minute recording of the majority of the talking EVPs. One of the most incredible experiences of my life. I've gone back multiple times since and nothing has happened. I feel honored to have experienced this all.